what does that mean though, to be in nature's discipline? Because that's new for probably most people. They've never heard. Hukam is usually translated to be an order. That's what I was told. That a hukam is almost like a command, an order that you must follow. And you're talking about something which is, it's different to that. You're saying a natural discipline. So can you help us to understand what that means?
There's two words. Natural is in its own creative flow, and discipline is where the measure has, the timeline has been put in. That now we have understood that there are 24 hours. There can be 25 hours if we readjust everything. It is our labels, right? We get up every single morning and we brush our teeth, and that became kind of like a ritual, daily, natural process for us. We made the brush. When there was no brush, there was different things we used to look after um, our mouth. So we created those processes, but we don't understand that Kartapur created brain so that we can create these things. And are we using these things in the in the favor of Kartapuruk? For example, Guru says um, that it is important for us to look after the nature, because trees were cut even in those days, water were polluted, and air was pretty polluted one way or another. And Guru wanted us to be conscious that we are part of nature. We cannot infect our own body. We are part of nature, and the Kartapur created us like that. So being conscious, Sri Korti, that um, what we are doing, does that fall in line with the nature? I'm not saying you cannot drive a car, because Kartapur gave you brain and you built the car. You are here, but use it consciously. Using it in that it is there to enhance. It is there to
So
help. It is there to blossom the life, not to kill the planet.
I agree with you. I'm I'm hearing you from a different perspective. I'm hearing from a younger version of Jasveer, a few years, like, maybe even 10 years ago. Um, there was nobody around me who was telling me in my younger years the purpose or the value of, like, for example, keeping hair, right? um it was just something that you were told you had to do if you wanted to be an orthodox Sikh, an Amritari Sikh, that this is part of the protocol, this is what you can do and what you can't do. Most kids, when they ask their parents why they're not allowed to cut their hair or shave their beards, um, it's met with a hostile response. You're never really given a reason. So if you've never been given a connection with that discipline of nature, and I'm just giving hair as an example, then what are you supposed to do?
See, we humans, it's not about Sikhs or Hindus or Muslim or Christians. When God created us, it's not that Spanish don't have a hair. It's not that Russians have a hair on their nails. No, we all humans have been created by Kartapurk in a particular way, respecting that what nature naturally how we are built in. Well, I personally believe that um, due to my sangat with some, what I will say, chardi kala life people in a different practices, like monks in Buddhists. Um, the people I met, they never pulled their hair. They never cut their sabat surat. And the Muslim brothers also that's the same way. Um, See, convenience and the religion and cultures we create, and we then try to use it according to our suitability. I would say, for example, um, now suddenly the human life is so dependent that my knees are not good, my back is hurting, and therefore I cannot sit on the ground and have a food um, from the langar of Guru Amar Das. So I rather sit on chair and have a food on table. For me, that's like, of course, it's not a big issue. I'm not making a cultural or religious or traditional thing, but I'm saying that we have given in to our capabilities and capacities, and we became disabled psychologically, and we forgot the purpose to sit on the ground and eat. When
But what
I
if you were never given the purpose? I don't think it's
sorry,
about forgetting it. I'm saying, what if you were never given the purpose and you just
that's
didn't
the
know?
yeah, the sad thing. When I speak to my friends from Catholic Church, and when I speak to Ahmadiyas, or when I speak to Sunnis or Buddhists, again, it's that we, the whole world is suffering from uh, inherited religion values. That's where a problem is. Inherited. Um, Very man-made, controlled, ritualistic program, a process to keep people under control. It's politically propagated religions. So it's a controlled, systematical religion. But when they started, they had different purpose. Now they are different, like Sikhi of Guru Nanak Sahib and the Sikhism of today is nothing fits. They don't go hand in hand, But here we say we are the followers and the seeker from the Sikhs. Of course, it's just because the reason we are talking about, on the channel here, um, having this conversation so that we can install that purpose. We can at least start a conversation that it is important for us to before we start doing something, it's important for us to clarify to ourselves what is the purpose? Why am I doing this? What's in it for me? Why should I do this? If I cut my hair, what will happen? If I do not eat food while sitting on the floor, what will happen? If you come out of the religious box for a moment and scientifically or try to just understand, being curious, what is the good things can happen to me if I eat while I'm sitting on the floor? What's good for me in that? And what's good if I don't cut hair? It's easy, I can tell you, and I can also share with you the the studies we did over this. That's easy. But then what did you do? You didn't even have a question. Now you want my answers. It's very important for us to form the question. So to start the quest, Jasveer Kaur, we are trying to create the questions. I'm just asking you to start thinking, like for example, Hukam, you know, be where I have been um, in nature's discipline since this morning. Not that where I broke it, I just want to acknowledge where I have been in nature's discipline. Try this. An amazing outcome will come in your
Can you give
hands.
us an example of something that we can do to try to connect with being in Hukam, in nature's discipline?
Did you wake up before sunrise? Maybe no, maybe yes. Um, I'm not here to judge you, but you should look around all the species, trees, all the birds, bees, everybody woke up before sunrise. We chose to create an extended night according to justification, whatever we have, that I had night shift or I had long night. It's all by us. I'm not saying you can't work at night. You have to decide your day and night. Did you had good rest? Did you go into flow? Are you functioning fully? Um, and just thinking that I woke up today before sunrise, it is a natural process. This is how the nature does it. And you will see the difference after waking up. When sun is risen and you wake up after, you'll see your body's energy before. um, Try to set it up, you waking up an hour before sunrise, and see how your body behaves and see the power of the energy field of nature. That's what a hukam is.
Okay, I'm thinking about myself and about what you just said. Sometimes I'd love to do that. I'd love to be up at, sunrise and, go to bed at sunset. Unfortunately, my routine doesn't allow that. So is there no hope for people like me?
No, no, Vaheguru, Jaswirpur, I'm saying is you are the master of your own world. Remember, your whole world, your planet is you. You need to sit down, contemplate who you are, what is your night and what is your day. Is there a balance? Is there a flow? Nature's flow. There is a time to sleep. If you have a day, there has to be your night. That doesn't mean anything. I'm just giving an example of sunrise and waking before sunrise, uh, for those people who are not in a difficult job, who go to 9 to 5, and they can go to bed 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and sleep for 6 hours or seven, and then wake up. There are possibility. Majority of us can do that, but some people just watch TV all night, and then at morning they can't function. They're irritated. They don't talk to their children or family properly. If mother gives a food, they are cranky, and they get irritated very quickly. Their natural flow is a broken, and forget about love. One who doesn't care about their own body and psyche and mental health, how can they contribute to the world? Excuses, we can make millions, but that's then you don't need me. If you need my little bit 2p advice in your life, then I will say let's contemplate. Let's start our journey from the point of nature's discipline and us. How much did I follow today? What was my achievement being in nature's discipline, being in Hukam of Karta Purakh? And then I'll talk about the next thing next time.
Thank you, Yogi. Thank you. You've given us a lot to think about, and I think some beautiful steps to build this connection. I'm really excited for next week's talk. So, thank you so much for today and your amazing wisdom. And we'll speak again next week. Thank you, everyone, for
Vaheguru.
tuning in.
Sat Karta.
Sat Sri Akal.